Welcome back to the OHIO podcast, everybody. I'm your host, Buckeye Boggs, a.k.a. The Podfather. We got a great show for you planned tonight, a great panel for everybody here tonight as well. So make sure you're locked in right here and hit that thumbs up right off the bat, everybody. Hit the thumbs up. Make sure you do that. Comments are going to be flying in tonight. We're going to make sure we have great participation there as well. If for whatever reason you need to get a hold of the show, you can email us at theohiopodcast@gmail.com. Visit the website at theohiopodcast.com. We are the official Ohio State podcast of The College Huddle. Head on over to thecollegehuddle.com where you can find ourselves and 87 of our closest friends from coast to coast. If you don't like the way my face looks, I don't blame you. Neither does my ex-wife. You can take us wherever you go and listen to the OHIO podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeart Podcasts. You know the drill. Give us a 5-star review if you're listening to us. Thank you so much for downloading the OHIO podcast. Give us that 5-star review. Let's build that crowd over there on all the audio platforms. Joining me this evening to my left, she is TG, the Wolverine Slayer. Good evening, TG.
What up, Chris? What up, Eric? What up, Buckeye Bill? How's everybody going?
Also joining us above TG, that's the Wild Man. So cool, he had to wear shades at night. That's the Wild Man, Chris Wiles. What's up, Chris?
I got to tell you, Eric, I'm pumped up. You know, I know we got the Patreon after show going tonight, so I did it right. I took my nap, doubled up on a big bottle of Dew for tonight.
Okay,
already
Kaden.
Down these both. You know what's coming.
And our special guest this evening. Oh, he's all about that business, ladies and gentlemen. It's Buckeye Bill. What's happening, buddy?
Man, thank you, family, for having me. I just want to let you guys know I've been getting some of the saddest, literally the saddest information from the South here down in Atlanta about Stefanski. But we're not going to touch on that today. But I can tell you one thing, Chris.
Sir.
You my idol, son. And I'm telling you, Buckeye Bill would not be Buckeye Bill and about that business without you, son. So we are on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, just like you said, aboutthatbusiness.com. Follow us, like us, try and enjoy. Actually, I want you to call in and be like Chris and just abuse me. Really, to be honest with you, it's a platform for you guys to come on there and have a great conversation about whatever you like to talk about sports, as long as it's not about soccer or baseball.
Because soccer ain't no real sport anyhow.
We ain't doing that. We're not doing it. We're just, I can't do that with you. I'll do the Olympic sports and stuff but I can't do soccer and I can't do baseball. So y'all come on, join the family. Let's talk about our Buckeyes. Let's be bucked up. Be about that Big Ten. And I'm in like the Big Ten. So let's go. What's going on, Big E?
Oh, Buckeye Bill is in the house, ladies and gentlemen.
What's happening?
It's gonna be a great show. Now, I did play baseball, Bill. I was a catcher, brother. So
I did as well, Eric. I actually did as well.
But that's all right. I didn't play soccer, although I tried to coach it for my kids, and that was a disaster. All right, I have got for the panel tonight. I have got a very interesting topic. Now, I didn't try to, put this title out there to mislead everybody. There has been on the internet, a lot of people talking about Ohio State quarterbacks. Again, it bled over to the local radio here in Columbus, Ohio. So I am going to share with everybody. I've got an audio clip I'm going to run tonight. And I want everybody to take a really good listen to what T-Bone has to say about Ohio State quarterbacks in the NFL and how that could affect Ohio State recruiting down the stretch. Now, this is a Ohio State fan on an Ohio State radio station in Columbus, Ohio, talking about Ohio State quarterbacks. I want to preface that before I play you this 1 minute and 18-second clip.
I think it's worth having a broader discussion about quarterback development here at Ohio State, does it not? I mean, we know this offense can generate a lot of points. We see that it can obviously produce some
I hope
very
this
high
guy's
completion
not from
percentages.
Columbus,
and CJ,
Georgia.
his rookie year looked like, finally they've broken through, right? Because that was a thing that for a long time has dogged this program, pre-Ryan Day, pre-Urban Meyer, going back for years and years and years, not having like first-round draft talent coming out of Ohio State.
To take that even deeper, I don't know, this might be lunatic fringy, but you say their draft stock. What about the recruits that are like, man, I want to go to the NFL, and the Ohio State quarterbacks do not pan out in the NFL? Why would I want to go there? I'm not saying every quarterback's going to feel this way, but someone will.
For some reason, the quarterback position, going back to Tressel and even before that, like, yeah, you have. I'm not blaming any of the coaches necessarily. Ryan Day is here now. I think it's a relevant conversation for now, especially given you have questions probably around Julian saying a little bit about being a system guy. He had one of the highest completion percentages in a regular season that we've ever seen for a quarterback. Yet in the two games where he faced the toughest defenses, suddenly he looked very human.
Oh, there we go. Julian Saint's just a system guy. C.J. Stroud was just a system guy. Let's forget he was the offensive rookie of the year, apparently, apparently we're going to forget that. We're going to forget the fact that he's got one of the worst offensive lines in the entire NFL and that they traded away his best weapons in the wide receiver. We're going to forget all of that, and we're going to say, I guess he was just a system guy, and now he's not successful in the NFL. I find that take a little bit ridiculous. TG, I know you're going to bring the fire tonight. Let's start with you. We'll go counterclockwise.
Now, let's start with this. Do you know anything about football, buddy? Do you? Like, if you actually paid attention as much as you did, like, for instance, I've seen C.J. Stroud's entire career. This man has had to work with the 26th ranked offensive line in the NFL. I mean, while it might not be among the worst, it's still not among the best. This offensive line has been terrible. The best weapon he had was Nico Collins. They didn't re-sign Noah Brown, who had actually been CJ's lifeline during his time in Houston. He made all the big-time catches that when CJ needed them, especially when Nico Collins was hurt. And Nico, it looked like he done fell down the surface. But then when you look at, like, the numbers he's done put up this season, I can tell you this right now, 2025, his overall stats, 64.5% completion percentage, which if you round it up is a 65% completion percentage. He has 3,041 passing yards with 19 touchdowns, 8 interceptions with a 92.9 pass rating. And this is with the talent that this guy has around him. And this is his third season making the NFL playoffs. And he was going up against a really good Patriots team where I did not expect the Texans to win in the second round because I'm like, they don't have enough weapons. Like, I look at what this guy's done against the best of the best so far and the best defenses, and he's done elite. Like, seriously, CJ all season has been elite in spite of that. Where the worst game he played was against the Patriots. Why? Because the Patriots were a much better team. They had much better defense. And CJ was not going to be able to carry this team past this all-around much better team. Let's be realistic about that, people. Like, and when you're talking about Julian Saint as a system quarterback, dude, he's a first-time starter. What you expect? They're going to work around him to try to develop him and get him better in certain moments. Like, yes, against Indiana, he didn't look great. Same against Miami. He didn't look great. Yes, he's a first-time starting quarterback. He made mistakes. He did not go through his progressions right in those two games. But that's going to happen. And look, as Buckeye fans, we should expect him to be better. But you got to understand, man, it's going to take Julian. He made mistakes. He's going to learn from it, and he's going to do better. I know for a fact. But please do not sit up here and act like as if Sayin can't be that guy. He can be. But he's a first-time starter. And that's what's going to happen. You got to work him in the system and then let him go out and just rip it. Let him make his mistakes and he'll learn.
Chris.
Yeah, I want to address this as a couple of different narratives here. First, if I could, the idea that Ohio State doesn't produce NFL quality quarterbacks, let me shut this narrative down once and for all, because Ohio State can produce NFL quality quarterbacks. It's one of the laziest, most outdated takes in football media. The argument was built on a small sample size from a completely different football era, before the modern quarterback development, before pro-style systems, and before Ryan Day turned Ohio State into what's been kind of a quarterback factory here of lately. If you're still referring to Art Schlichter and Craig Krenzel, you're not a football analyst. You're an archaeologist because you're digging up fossils. For the love of God. I mean, and then NFL quarterbacks, not to say that Ohio State quarterbacks have had zero success, it's crap. You go back, Mike Tomczak, 15-year career, 42-31 as a starter. Troy Smith, he stuck around the league for quite a while. Terrell Pryor didn't do great as a quarterback, but reinvented himself into a 1,000-yard receiver. Justin Fields has been in some of the worst situations of any NFL quarterback ever between Chicago and the Jets. And then C.J. Stroud. You want to act like C.J. Stroud is not an NFL quality quarterback. Stroud walked into a rebuilding franchise and instantly became a franchise quarterback. High draft pick, immediate starter, immediate production, immediate playoff success. If you're still clinging to the old narrative after watching Stroud, you're not being skeptical, you're being an idiot. You're being stubborn, you're being biased, and you're being left behind by reality. Ohio State quarterback development has evolved. The Ryan Day era changed the pipeline. And the OSU quarterbacks can't make it in the NFL take. It's crap. It's dead. It's expired. And CJ buried it. And let me tell you why I say that. Because if you've watched football at all, and you're not just out there to protect your own agenda or promote clickbait like this guy on The Fan who makes me look like I'm healthy and fit.
Oh, jeez.
Because Colin Stroud overrated is one of the most delusional takes in sports media. The dude wasn't just good for Ohio State. He is one of the best young quarterbacks in the NFL, period. 7,835 yards in 2 seasons. 43 touchdowns, 17 picks, 93.7 passer rating. Nearly 245 yards average per game. Those aren't system quarterback numbers. Those aren't game manager numbers. Those are franchise QB numbers. As a rookie, 41.08 in 15 games. 23 touchdowns versus 5 picks. 108.8 passer rating. And he was the league leader in passing yards per game. And he didn't do it on a super team. Like TG was saying, he did it with a rebuilding Texans roster. And he turned that team into a division winner and a playoff team immediately. And then signature moments. How about 470 yards and 5 touchdowns? Most ever by a rookie in a single NFL game. Awards, NFL Rookie of the Year, Pro Bowler, multiple AFC Player of the Week honors. Youngest quarterback ever to win a playoff game. 3 career playoff wins already. 3-3 playoff record in his first 3 seasons. CJ has as many Super Bowl appearances as Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert, Dak Prescott, Trevor Lawrence, Kirk Cousins. And his playoff winning percentage is better than most of the league. The only active quarterbacks that are better right now are Brock Purdy, Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen, Matthew Stafford, and Aaron Rodgers, and the last 4 are by percentage points because it is a 1-game difference. On film, he's calm in the pocket. He's elite in processing. He's surgical with his ball placement. We saw that at Ohio State. Deadly with anticipation and efficient without being recklessly chaotic. You know what critics used to say Ohio State quarterbacks couldn't do? Read defenses, throw with timing, operate in structure. And CJ does all of that at a great high NFL level. So when people say that he's not good, when I hear this type of football analysis, when I hear the old narratives, the anti-Ohio bias, and people praying he fails so they don't have to admit that they were wrong, T-Bone, you big slob. Because CJ Stroud, he's proven the doubters wrong. He's demolishing the stereotype, and he's doing it in real time. And the Ohio State quarterback narrative, guys, it's over. CJ changed it all. Ohio State can produce elite quarterback talent, and I'm telling you, he would be at least our third, if not for bad situations. That's the tragic passing of Dwayne Haskins. The just screwed over state of the teams that Justin Fields has been sent to. And of course, CJ, who's doing it all. For anybody who questions the fact that CJ is elite, you don't know a damn thing about football, and it's that simple.
Yeah.
All right, Bill, your take, my man.
Whoa, fire. We talking fire, and I got to come behind that right there. Here's the thing. The whole landscape has said that because of the fact that we have so much talent on offense and defense, that our quarterbacks don't have to do much. That's the narrative. That's the narrative of I'm talking about all the way since Woody, that we got so much talent on offense and defense, on on the wings, running backs, defensive backs on the line, that our quarterbacks can't handle a professional environment. Now, what I will say to you is, at this point in time, because of that narrative has happened, the NFL never gave them an opportunity. Now, think about this, and maybe I'm wrong and maybe you're right. Name me all the quarterbacks that came from LSU, Alabama, Auburn, um, Arizona State, or any teams that they've all came from the what is the northwest, San Diego State or Northwestern U. Where did what's his name come from the Bills? My point is,
Josh Allen was Wyoming.
Josh Allen, Wyoming.
Wyoming.
Wyoming. My point is, and I didn't mean to get off the point, because I don't do stats, I don't do none of that. What I'm saying is, you can't find a prestigious university who has a quarterback in the NFL, other than, if you want to call Young a prestigious, um, from Alabama. You get Trevor Lawrence, Hurts, who went through several colleges to get to the NFL. The rest are people like Donald, who just went through four teams to get to the level he's in now, and he's from USC.
Right.
So when you start talking about Ohio State and their development of quarterbacks, you're missing. You're kind of like missing the point, because yes, they do have a lot of talent around them, but how do you make others better if you're just a loser? That means they didn't get an opportunity to hone their skills on that level. And now we're talking about Mike McCarthy and Will Howard. He said the reason why he took that job at Pittsburgh is to work with Will Howard, not with Rodgers. Now, if that's his true case, that's an Ohio State quarterback that a lot of people, including Mike Tomlin, saw potential in.
Mm-hmm.
So quit acting like we're not producing quality quarterbacks on this level. Julian Sayin, as a freshman, had learned a lot. Think about what he's going to do. We got St. Clair coming out of nowhere. We don't know if he's capable of playing the second level or not, because he is a mobile quarterback. But Julian Sand is one of the top-notch quarterbacks next year, bar none. So when y'all start looking at the potential of Ohio State quarterbacks coming into our system, and then what we're going to be producing in the next 5 to 6 years, we're a receiver, cornerback, defense, and that's what we've built our logo on. But we have had, other than Sleester, we've had some of the best quarterbacks that has ever been in college football. I ain't saying the NFL, but in college football, because they win. That's all I got to say.
And Eric, if I can chime in here, I didn't mention Julian Sand during my little rant, and there's a reason for that.
Sure.
Because I'm going to bring him up as part of our conversation that we're going to have later, because I'm going to tell you right now, people say Julian Sand is a system quarterback. The reason Julian Sand wasn't great this year is because the system failed him, and I'm going to tell you how.
Yeah, honestly, it's kind of funny that they said that, because these are the same people who once upon a time said the same thing about Tom Brady. Now you praise him to the high moon as the greatest quarterback, but years ago y'all were calling him a system quarterback. Do people tend to forget that? Like, y'all always be wrong. And then not only that, but Chris, to your point about Ohio State quarterbacks that's myth, well, one thing that people don't bring up is how Ohio State quarterbacks of the past have been successful in the NFL. Like Joe Germain, I can't pronounce his last name. Sleester. Thank you. Bobby Hoy and Mike Tomczak as
Bobby Hoy. Wow.
Yeah, like, no, these guys were successful. Like, he was a successful starter in the mid-90s. Like, this guy.
Ohio State quarterbacks were so good, TG. We even had one of them who was a punter, Tom Tupa.
Hey, fun fact about Tom Tupa.
I know where you're going with this.
He made the first 2-point conversion in NFL history.
Yeah.
That's right.
So, like, when people kind of say this about Ohio State quarterbacks, and it's
I knew he was going there.
Yeah, so when people kind of say about Ohio State quarterbacks, it's like, no, you've had Ohio State quarterbacks in the past that have been successful. There's just a period where they weren't. And look, it happens, but not every school is great at quarterbacks. Like, I mean, Buckeye Bill, you mentioned a couple, but you forgot to mention Joe Burrow. He's been successful. He went from Ohio State to LSU. But he came from us. Yeah, but, I mean, let's be real. It took him to his senior year to finally get there, and I can't blame him for that, especially because he got passed over already, so that's understandable. Then you have Jaden Daniels, another one who's actually had a pretty – now, I know he's had a bit of a sophomore slump this year, but he's had a pretty good 2 years thus far. If you're being realistic with yourself, it's very rare. And Drake May right now, he just led the Patriots to the freaking Super Bowl, and he's like, how long has he been there? He's a rookie.
2 years or one?
I think he's a rookie. He's a rookie.
North Carolina, though. He came from North Carolina.
But that's the point, though, is if you're going to talk about Ohio State quarterback play in the NFL, and you're talking about, like, how we develop, like go back into history, but also look at any other school and say, hey, what other schools have developed NFL QBs at a consistent pace? Because it seems like they come from every so often. Like, for instance, Joe Flacco didn't come from no Power 5 school. This guy was a
Delaware.
G5.
No, he was FCS.
He was FCS. Right. He was at Delaware.
That's lower than G5.
Yeah, that's even lower than G5 when you think about it. It's like, or Aaron Rodgers, who came from, like, I think it was Miami of Ohio.
Cal. He came from Cal.
Michael
Vick came from VT.
Ben Roethlisberger was the one I was thinking of. Who came
Miami of Ohio.
Yeah, like, and let's be realistic. These guys didn't come from no prestigious schools. These guys came from lower tier schools. So
exactly.
Guess what? It's not going to be forever. And here's the thing too. I've been saying this for the longest because I've argued with people about Justin Fields, and I've said this countless times. I don't care what I don't care where he how his career has looked this far when it's not completely his fault. You put him in a bad situation where he has no coaches, he has no defense, he has no offensive weapons. He may have one at least, but that's it. He has no offensive line, no wide receivers. He has one good tight end that he developed with in Cole Kmet because they developed a connection. But outside of that, and then the one time that I think, and then with the Jets, it's like you guys have promised, but for some reason, you guys just kept making silly mistakes that didn't put him in the best situation. And the offensive line really wasn't playing great either. The play calling was also terrible. I'm not gonna lie. The best he looked was the 6 games he had in Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
That was the best. And then guess who was the coach? Arthur Smith. Now, some people think Justin sucked, and I was like, no. If you actually looked at Justin, he looked very good in Arthur Smith's offense. And Arthur Smith wanted to keep him as the quarterback. He wanted to keep him. He did not want Russell Wilson. He did not want Aaron Rodgers. He made it work with those two, but he wanted Fields because Fields fits his system. He tailors his offense around the players, like pretty much like how we say about Matt Patricia tailors it to the players he has on the field. That's what Arthur Smith does on offense. He tailors it around the players he has. And he looked at Fields and say, I know what I can do with him. He's got the arm to pass. He's got the legs to be mobile. We can make something work out of this. But they promised to have Russell Wilson be the starter. Otherwise, Russell would have been there. So they had to take him out after the 6th game. But Arthur Smith and them really did want to keep Justin as the starter because they knew he had the potential. It's there. It's all about development. I don't care how people look at him. Where he goes, where he's getting developed. Like, for instance, if he ended up with Kevin O'Connor or Sean McVay or Kyle Shanahan, even Mike McDaniels, I think he have a better career than what he's had with the crappy situations he's been put in.
Sam McDonald, that's your answer.
Sam Donald. Yeah, Sam Donald, Geno Smith, Baker Mayfield. Another one. So, like, when you have some of these QBs who spent their time around multiple teams and then they finally find the right team that is able to invest and develop them with the right coaches, with the right resources, with the right everything, as well as the right front office, not one that's completely stupid, guess what? They flourished. You telling me Justin couldn't do that if you got him in the right situation? CJ Stroud, he's actually doing super well despite being with the Houston Texans, and he was with a team that's rebuilding, and he's taking them to the playoffs 3 times. They need to build around him more. Give him a better offensive line. Give him more weapons on the outside. You got a defense that's there. You just need to build the offense around CJ now. That's all you have to do.
There you go.
That's all you have to do. Trust me. Like, when it comes to the quarterbacks at Ohio State, a lot of these guys don't get put in the greatest situations, and they're stuck with franchises that don't build around them, that don't even try to, or they're stuck in situations where they're in a rebuilding phase, and they got to learn as time goes on, and maybe hopefully they can get up there. Like, I don't care what anybody says. For Michigan, if it wasn't for Bill Belichick developing Tom Brady, because Tom Brady has said this, without Bill Belichick, there is no Tom Brady, period. Or is what Patrick Mahomes says about Andy Reid. He says, look, if it weren't for Andy Reid, there is no Patrick Mahomes, which shows you that coaching matters because these 2 all-time great coaches, Andy Reid and Bill Belichick, are the 2 greatest coaches in NFL history, and they developed these 2 quarterbacks. These 2 quarterbacks literally told you coaching matters. It does not matter what you say. Coaching matters. So if you want these guys developed, if you want these quarterbacks to do good in the NFL, you have to develop them. You have to build around them. No matter how much people want to say, oh, well, the talent at Ohio State means that they ain't got to, they don't have to do too much. That's a lie. Because guess what? You can say that about Tom Brady during his time in the NFL. Because that man had a lot of talent around him in his first set of years. Same with Patrick Mahomes, for a matter of fact. But guess what? Nobody says that. At first, I was saying that they were system quarterbacks. Then you start calling them the greatest quarterbacks of all time because you realize just how wrong you were. So just understand, development matters. Coaching matters. If you ain't got that, you're never going to succeed in the NFL. So the landing spot of where you go will always depend on how your career turns out as a quarterback.
And TG, a perfect example. A perfect example. If you take Justin Fields, drop him into Kyle Shanahan's offense at San Francisco in place of Brock Purdy, you are talking about Justin Fields as a perennial All-Pro. Guaranteed.
Absolutely.
Because that's the type of offense that fits the play for Justin Fields. And that is a big problem, as well as the fact that these players, and you talked about the coaches, they draft guys who are not suited for their system
Exactly.
because of what they did in college. You know what? Know who you're drafting. Understand the system that they're going to go into, and you have two choices as a coach. You either change your system to fit your quarterback, or you get a different quarterback. But don't make that guy's career suffer because you are too stupid to know what you're doing as a head football coach in the NFL.
And Chris, either or, you just made the biggest point. If you're going to draft the quarterback, make sure you have the right general manager and the right coach to keep him in a system to grow around him. See, a lot of it is just not the quarterback. It's if you got a general manager that knows he has to get this particular quarterback needs an offensive left tackle to protect him, or a right guard, or whatever. That's where you are looking, and then the kind of running back that is going to protect him. You don't get a quarterback and then have a 5'9" guy to block for him. You go get you a running back who's 240 that's going to protect him in, if he's going to be throwing the ball. If he's going to be running the ball, then now he can protect himself. My point is, these general managers, and the only reason why I'm saying this is because Matt Ryan just took over the Atlanta Falcons, and I don't know if he knows what he's talking about, and Stefanski. But when you get these general managers and coaches who can't work or coach up their offense, their defense, and especially their quarterbacks, you are in for a bad awakening. And that's why, like you said, Justin he hasn't flourished yet, but get him in the right system. They said Caleb Williams he's going to be garbage. They said Shador is going to be garbage. You have to get them the right system, right quarterback, right GM who can surround him with the kind of players that can make the franchise successful.
And that's what most of them don't understand. As Richard has said, like most of the time when you're the number one, you're going to be drafted to a terrible situation. Here's the thing that I would do if I was a team. I would do exactly what Bill Belichick did with Tom Brady. I would do exactly what Andy Reid did with freaking Patrick Mahomes. I'm going to sit them down behind a veteran. I will build this team accordingly, and I will build it around them. I will let them gain confidence to develop them so that way by the time they take the field, they'll be ready to
They're
go.
ready.
That's what you should be doing. That's just what a lot of these teams don't do. And here's the thing, too. Like with Caleb Williams, I said it. If you don't put this guy in the right system, he won't flourish at all because I don't think he's a great quarterback. I never did. I watched him in college. He was never good. Trust me, this dude's pocket presence, pocket ability, pocket awareness is complete and utter garbage. But when I look at what Ben Johnson did for him, I see it. Ben Johnson just fixed this offense to make this guy look so much better than what he is. But that is the point, though. That's what the coach should be doing. You should be doing that. And I would even give JT Barrett for helping Caleb Williams mature a little bit. Because one of the things that really will tell you about a quarterback is, like, for instance, with Justin Fields and all the Ohio State quarterbacks we have had, they have maturity. They're coachable. Unlike most of the quarterbacks these guys coach. You have the right guy who's a leader. Justin Fields, every locker room he's been in, he's been loved by the players. It's the organizations, the people at the top, who for some reason don't seem to believe in him, even when the players do. Like, it starts making you think, dude, you got everything with this guy. You got his mobility. Because in the NFL now, mobility is going to be the biggest thing you're going to need as well. It's not just your ability to pass in the pocket. You're going to need to move too. You're going to need to. But you got a guy who can run the ball, he's got the arm to pass, and he's got the leadership qualities. He's got all the qualities, not just the quantity, the qualities. And that's what matters more in any quarterback than just the quality. Like, you can have all the talent in the world, but you need to have 4 qualities to be successful. And I brought them up. Again, one of them being leadership. You need to have leadership. You need to have the intangibles. You need to have I got to remember what the other 2 were, but I know for a fact those are 2 of the 4 things you need to be a great, successful NFL quarterback. But you also need to find yourself in the right situation. And if you can't find yourself in that with an organization that just doesn't know how to build around you, that doesn't believe in you, even when the players do, well, now you got yourself a problem. So the reality is, when it comes to our quarterbacks being successful in the NFL, it just depends on what's being built around them.
So I fell down a rabbit hole here. Obviously, the passion from you 3. We're 37 minutes in, so I fell down a rabbit hole here, and I think T-Bone is getting his take from the overwhelming voices on Twitter and on social media, who most of them are coming from the team up north, in my opinion. This is what I found over on X, and it was reposted on Facebook. And this is obviously, the anonymous nobody is obviously a fan of the team up north. CJ Stroud looks like he's going to continue the lineage of Ohio State QBs being pure butt in the NFL. And then he lists these pictures. Anybody notice how awesome these quarterbacks are? Like, seriously.
Yeah.
Braxton Miller, Terrell Pryor. You got 12 gauge, JT Barrett, Haskins, CJ Stroud. You've got Justin Fields in there. Give me a break. Serious question here. Ohio State's job in developing quarterbacks is to get them drafted in the NFL. That's it.
Yep.
That's Ohio State's job. After that, it's the player and the franchise the player goes to. It is not up to Ryan Day or Billy Fessler, the quarterback coach, or Chip Kelly, the offensive coordinator, or Arthur Smith, the offensive coordinator now, to continue to develop a quarterback once they reach the NFL. That is not Ohio State's job. It wasn't Michigan's job to develop Tom Brady once he got to the NFL. That was the New England Patriots' job.
Because they didn't develop him when he was in Michigan.
So this take about Ohio State's quarterbacks failing in the NFL is asinine. It falls completely on its face. By the way, last time I checked, and I hope every Ohio State player, when they get to the NFL, has great success. I really do. I hope they all do. But I'll be honest, they ain't wearing my jersey anymore. They're wearing the Seattle Seahawks, the New England Patriots, the Cleveland Browns, the Cincinnati Bengals, the Atlanta Falcons, the Chicago Bears, the New York Jets. They're not wearing Ohio State anymore, man. So I've moved on already to Julian Sane. Sorry, CJ. Sorry, Will.
Well, hey, listen,
you guys.
I gotta stop you on this one right here. That picture right there, bro. You talking about every last one of them had a championship, a Big Ten championship or a national championship. What part of this picture you don't see excellence in?
Exactly.
That would be my point. And as far as trying to understand that most of the time when they do get into the NFL, that they don't get the opportunity, they have, and it's just the organization that they have been going to that has failed them. That's, man, I'm telling you, if boy, look here, Art Schlichter, if he hadn't screwed up the whole lineage, they would never be saying this, because Ohio State has always had great quarterbacks. What say you, Chris?
So before you answer, Chris, I want to adjust this slightly. So there was this backlash from this on social media where some of the Ohio State fans were saying, dude, you keep talking like this, it's going to start to affect recruiting. You heard T-Bone actually say it in that comment. He's like, if we can't develop a quarterback who's successful in the NFL, who's going to want to come here? Because they all want to get to the NFL. And I'm sitting here thinking, they all went to the NFL, T-Bone. Every one of them got to the NFL. They all got there. Ohio State is incredibly successful at developing it. And this all comes back now to where Julian's saying now. Dude just broke, what was it? The percentage completion percentage in college football, and he's a system quarterback. Give me a break, Chris.
Well, again, T-Boner or Soup Bone or Ham Bone or whatever his name is, doesn't know a gone thing about the sport of football. He just does not. He is despicable. He should not be allowed to be on the radio because he has absolutely zero talent or entertainment value. Here's the facts. You said it, Eric. You laid it out. Ohio State has produced numerous quarterbacks that were drafted by the NFL, which is their job. That is Ryan Day's job. That is Billy Fessler's job. That was Urban Meyer's job when he was there. That was Jim Tressel's job. It was whoever's job was in charge to get those guys to the NFL, and they all did it. And if you look and you want to make some comparisons, how about your precious Alabama? How about those guys?
See, that's what
Let me run down their championship quarterbacks just for a second. Mac Jones, what is he? Is he even in the league anymore? You got Tua, who doesn't remember if he's in the league anymore or not. You've got Jake Coker, A.J. McCarron, Greg McElroy. Yeah, those are some talented guys right there. And you're going to criticize Ohio State's quarterbacks and their production.
Exactly.
It's a joke.
Mac Jones is in the NFL. He's the backup as the
in San Francisco. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Which honestly,
You're backing up Mr. Irrelevant, by the way, Mac Jones, with your first round status.
What's funny about it too is I actually did think that other than Justin Fields, Mac Jones would have been the next best fit for the 49ers instead of Trey Lance, which I would never understand that. See, you're a bust. Trey Lance was a bust. He was when you failed at San Francisco with Kyle Shanahan. I'm sorry. You're a bust when you do.
But yeah, Eric, getting back to what you said about how it could affect recruiting, it's not going to affect recruiting. It's not going to affect recruiting because of two things. The fact that Ohio State keeps winning, as Bill pointed out earlier, and the fact, and you just kind of made the motion, Eric, the NIL dollars. And as long as Ryan Day keeps winning, giving them their NIL dollars, and putting guys in the first, second, third round of the NFL draft, or in the NFL draft at all, and as long as he keeps developing these guys to get them into the draft, we're not going to see recruiting affected. This guy's just an idiot with a microphone. I don't know where he gets his takes from, but I'll tell you, I used to enjoy listening to this guy, and I have to ask myself now why.
I will say this though, man. It's funny. You made the greatest point. FedEx, NIL. I say FedEx. That was a joke.
We follow you, Arthur Smith. We got you.
I know. The point is, we've always been able to develop defensive lines, offensive lines, running backs, cornerbacks, and receivers. And who had to control that whole narrative? Our quarterbacks. We'll never lose any kind of recruits because this guy, what is his name? T-Bone Pickens? What's his name? I don't even know the guy's name because I ain't never watched him. Is he's the guy that's saying that we can't recruit because we only have one top-notch quarterback in the NFL?
He's questioning that, Bill. He's questioning the one top-notch quarterback we got in the NFL. He didn't
Yeah.
think he's top notch.
Yeah, so I'm just trying to figure out we're getting recruits out of the yin yang, and some of them can't even get in onto the campus because we have so many other recruits. So I don't know what his philosophy was on making that take, but at the end of the day, um, I haven't watched him, and I hope no one else does because he's not a true Buckeye fan, and he don't have scarlet and gray running through his veins. So why should I care about what he said?
You would know super interesting about the whole foot when people started talking about FedEx. I found out that Arthur Smith actually is one of 10 siblings of his father, and one of his siblings owns FedEx now since their father passed. So when people said that, I was like,
That's why he's
that
a
would be
coach.
funny.
That's why he's a coach.
And Michigan fans started worrying about that. I like, oh, they're the FedEx thing. I'm like, I wouldn't go that far, but I can see why though, because it's one of his brothers, one of his siblings is now runs the company, so I can see it.
So looking at this picture again, I see a lot of different kind of quarterbacks.
Yes.
I want to ask the question here and we got about 12 minutes left before we end tonight's show and we head on over to Patreon for the super secret show in the asylum. So I want to get into this debate. What works better in Ryan Day's offense? A traditional passer, drop back passer, or a dual threat quarterback? TG, start with you. We'll make our way around.
If I had to say what works better in his offense, I would say a true dual threat. One that can be an elite pocket passer, but also an elite runner because it gives defenses a bigger issue. More importantly, it makes our offense much harder to defend. And it's something that the NFL is looking for nowadays, and it tends to work in NFL offenses. So I would say that fits his system better, is a true dual threat, not just a traditional pocket passer, but a true dual threat.
Bill?
What works better in Arthur Smith's offense is what's going to be the bigger question because, again, they have Julian and they have St. Clair.
Mm-hmm.
So he's going to have to evaluate both and see if he can work with both or just make a executive decision on dealing with whoever he wants. It's not about Day because I think he's going to allow him to have the reins on the offense just like he did Patricia. He's going to be the CEO, and then he's going to let these guys run the offense and defense. So it's going to be about Arthur Smith and what he can work with and be successful with at Ohio State. What you say, big dog?
I'm so glad this one came to me last because I'm going to probably shout us all the way to the outro.
Oh boy, here we go.
Patreon. Because first things first.
I was trying to be calm.
The short answer is this. If your quarterback can't move in 2026, you're playing football with a flip phone.
Damn it.
It's that simple. However, but what we first need to determine is what system is Ryan Day's offense? Is it what we saw him run last season, where it's like he's trying to revive 3 yards in a cloud of dust and run the clock? Or is it what we saw with CJ? Is it what we saw with Dwayne? Is it what we saw with Justin? Is it that modern, pro-style, NFL caliber death machine and it demands a quarterback who can process like a chess master and throw like an NFL starter and punish defenses with their legs when they get cute? Right. That's the first thing we have to determine.
Right.
Which of these is going to be Ryan Day? Now, if you look back when Day took over, Ohio State evolved. Urban Meyer, QB run-heavy approach. We saw that with JT, Eric's favorite Ohio State Buckeye of all time. And that gave way to a spread-based pass-first pro-style assault. Dwayne Haskins stepped in We saw a quarterback who come out and nearly threw for 5,000 yards and 50 touchdowns and lit up the Big Ten in a single season. Mm-hmm. And yes, a pure passer can thrive in Ryan Day's system.
Yes.
If the offensive line is elite and the pocket is clean. And that's a big if. But guess what? Modern defenses don't play nice anymore, guys. You've got these huge fronts. You've got hybrid linebackers. You've got edge rushers that look like they're straight out of Marvel Comics.
Right.
And if your quarterback is a statue, let's call it what it is. He's a dead man.
Mm-hmm.
He is. Then you got the Justin Fields type guy, that prototype. This is, I think, ideally the type of guy that you need to truly run that explosive offense that we saw out of Ryan Day in the past. A guy with, as you said, TG, an elite arm, a guy who can process quickly, has the mind of a computer, and legs that turn broken plays into soul-crushing first downs.
Yes.
That is the key. Fields didn't just run Day's offense, he weaponized it.
Exactly.
Weaponized. Yes, and
exactly.
Fact, real quick, Sean.
Yes.
Dwayne Haskins was not a dual threat, but he was a mobile threat. Like, you don't even have to be a true dual threat. Just be a mobile quarterback. Be mobile. Right.
And I'm gonna bring that up, TG, because this is when I said I was going to bring Julian Sand into the conversation. Because there is a fun little statistic that I researched today. And I went back through Dwayne Haskins, Justin, CJ. You could throw JT into this because I think we had an overlap year where he was in the room with Ryan Day on the offensive sideline. Will Howard, Kyle McCord, and Julian Sand. Kyle McCord and Julian Sand had one thing in common that differentiated them from what we would call our elite quarterbacks. And do you know what that was?
Mobility.
And I'm going to be specific. Every one of those quarterbacks, except for Kyle McCord and Julian Sand, with the exception, even including sacks,
was under
finished
center.
The year with positive rushing yards.
Oh, I thought
the only two that did not were Julian and Kyle McCord.
And that's very interesting, Chris. And you know what's very similar between both of those guys? Look at how they ended their year. They both went Kyle McCord was 11-0, and then he lost to Michigan. Right. Julian Sand was 12-0. Then he lost to Indiana and Miami to end the year. Julian is going to have to be willing to be mobile, tuck it and run, and pick up a first down every now and then. You do not have to be a running quarterback, but you have to be willing to run.
Exactly.
Here's the thing. The way you could process those quarterbacks is, again, you have your traditional pocket passer, and then you have your true dual threats. The one in the middle of those are just your mobile quarterbacks. The guys who might not be as great as the dual threats with running, but they're good at running. They have the mobility that scares you enough where it's like, okay, I got to take this guy seriously.
TG, you know who you just described? The one guy in that group that's got a national championship.
Will
Howard.
And you know what's funny? That's why Mike McCarthy wants him.
Processors, man. And listen, this is what I thought you was going to say, Chris, is that both of those guys were able to process a little bit quicker than even the mobile quarterbacks. I'm not saying that you can't process as a mobile quarterback, but when you're watching and you watch McCord and Will, and I'll even say Will Howard, when they were playing under center, I thought you was going to say under center. That's when I saw them be more successful at running the offense that Ryan Day wants to run. Is what I don't know if that makes sense, But that's when I saw Ryan Day's offense be successful.
And I know we're getting ready to switch over, Eric, but I just want to kind of leave you on these thoughts before we go. First of all, Bill, Kyle McCord couldn't process if you got him a brand new MacBook Pro, okay?
Yeah, no,
I was
like
trying
he
to
could
give
not
you that.
process. I'm sorry, like
Second-
Come on, man, I was trying to
secondly-
give him Cal. I was trying to give you Cal McCord, and you won't even let me have him.
Secondly,
That was ridiculous.
I think when you look at Julian, I think when you look back at CJ even, I don't think it was their decision not to run.
It wasn't.
I think that, and that is what I mentioned about, I think the program, I think the system may have failed Julian, much as it failed CJ through a good majority of his career, because we saw what happened versus Georgia when CJ let it loose.
Right.
Someone in the
he
comment
was
section
awesome.
earlier said that when CJ was able to run in that Georgia game, that was the best that Ryan Day's offense ever looked.
Absolutely.
I forget who made the comment. Shout out to you, dude. That was a great comment. Yes, when
Right here,
CJ
Buck 21.
perfect. Thank you, TG. Yes, there it is. Because they had no answer for CJ when he ran, because they were so worried about his arm that it became a true dual threat from a quarterback who absolutely was a surgeon with his arm.
Yes.
Exactly.
And that is what Julian's saying can be. Think about that. How good he was this year. Now add that to his game, where you have to be like, oh crap, he took off running and
Because he
just
doesn't
picked
have
up.
to be a track star.
But
No,
He
give
doesn't
this,
have to be a
but
track
give
star.
this
He just
kid
got to read
to,
the defense and shoot the gaps. That's it.
Like,
give this
let
kid
him
to
be-
Schlegs this offseason up until spring game, and you see what happens.
And as Bobby Wise kind of says it here, she says, you have to have a flexible and have the ability to adapt its skill when is a good quarterback. So like she's right. Like the thing is, CJ always had the ability to run, and he actually said it himself. He wanted to when he was in the NFL doing an interview. He wanted to run. See, Ryan Day just wouldn't let him until the Northwestern game and the Georgia game. Those are the two games he ever let him run. And you saw how much better the offense looked. Or go back to Justin back in 2019. Every team that ever faced Ohio State in 2019, when they said it, Justin was such a pain in the ass to go against. He made Ohio State's offense such a pain because of his ability to run and his ability to pass. Like, he was able to destroy you surgically with his arm and pass the ball. But if you gave that man an opportunity to run the ball, he destroyed you too. So it was like you had to pick which one you wanted Justin to do.
I gotta tell you, that last person who commented, such brilliant insight, and man, she's kind of hot too.
Oh, jeez Louise. All right, guys. Hey, here's the deal. We're gonna take this over to Patreon. If you want to hear me go off on Kyle McCord, and you want to hear us talk about the biggest weakness in Ryan Day's offense, make sure you're over there on Patreon, okay? It's going to be awesome. Give us 5 minutes. We'll have it set up. It's going to be great. Bill, tell everybody one more time where they can find About That Business.
Hey, listen. This has been fabulous for me. This weather been down here. It's been crazy. Not like yours, but it's been really crazy. But we're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. About that business. We about your business. We about Ohio Podcast business. We about Patreon business. TG, Big E, and most of all, my big brother. Grizz!
Twin brothers from another mother.
Hey, listen, I'm so excited to be a part of this family. Let's go get it. I have to go to work, but I'm going to tell you one thing. Y'all stay on business and on time because we about that business, TJ. Let's go.
Yep.
Holla at me if you see me coming. We ain't like the Big Ten.
Yep. And real quick to you, Sean, you do realize that CJ is 6'3", 225. Justin is 6'3", 228. So he ain't that much bigger than CJ. Both of them are bigger than saying, no doubt. But they ain't that much bigger than each other.
Hey, go check out TG's podcast, The Spectrum, as well. She had an awesome guest on with her. It just dropped this morning, so head on over to The Spectrum as well. And they did a great show. It was almost 2 hours long. Lot just packed full of information. TG's got herself a real good co-host over there, so go check that out, everybody.
I told
All right?
y'all would love him. I promise you. I told y'all gonna love him. He was a male version of me, just a lot less crazier, a lot less like you know how I could be crazy.
Is it your brother,
How do we
TG?
find you,
No.
TG? How do we find you?
Oh, I got the link to the Spectrum podcast, and I can pretty much just put it in the chat. And I'm gonna definitely put it. Matter of fact, I'll put it over in the chat in the on Patreon real quick.
It's also down in the description of this show, everybody.
Yep.
So if you click on the description, you'll find it down there. Click on it. That'll take you to our YouTube channel. You can subscribe over there. All right, everybody. Have a great evening. We're going to see you all over on Patreon in just 5 minutes.
OH.
I-O.
Go
Holla.
Bucks and Scum.